My son Chris, Paul. Good enough. Yeah, young, which means wine. SHALAM, which means to Israel. Shapar, again, which means horn. Now, Salakia. For the prayers, I-M-A-T-M, which means to stand. Sarah Panya HaKodam, which means turn face to the east. Going to begin with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Badash, I.S.U.P.K, Yahawah, Malakusta, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, I.S.U.P.K, Barataza, Kuwa, I.S.U.P.K, Bashemayim, Matananawa, Kham, Khal, Yawan, Wasalaknawa, Kawatanawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawatinawa, Wala'ah, Tabi'ayanawa, Wanasayawan, Abal, Kawashayanawa, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Ha'ala, Tapara, Abalamia, Aman. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahawah, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Hakah, the power in the Hebrew, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Abkushah, Matananaw, Hakah, Raba'ah, Kamakara, Kamarawah, Hakah, Latahah, Hamatazariah, Hakah, Lahakim, Hamathium, Hakah, Arkawa, Tama'ala, the Garashan, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Tawad Aman. In the English, Yahweh, in the name Yahushua, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness, and all manner of disease, power to cleanse the lepers, power to raise the dead, power against unclean spirits, cast them out, in the name Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Ayanya, Ahahaya, Mayan, Yabah, Isaiah, Mine, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Warataza, Aliyatan, Oamawat, Galka, Alianawam, Shamarka, Hanalaha, Yanawam, Walaha, Yaishan, Shalomar, Yashrala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Zalka, Aliyah, Yamyunka, Yalmam, Hashemash, La'at, Yakika, Mayarach, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makalarai, Yashimar, Asmapashka, Yahweh, Yashimar, Tazahafka, Mawaka, Ma'aika, Wa'aid Iwalam. In the English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence comes my help? My help comes from Yahweh. Which made heaven and earth. You will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh reserve that going out.
Yahweh reserve that going out.
And thy coming in.
And thy coming in.
From this time forth.
From this time forth.
And even forevermore.
Even forevermore.
Psalm 33 in the Hebrew. Alahayim.
Ayayim.
Al-Dama Yalaka.
Al-Dama Yalaka.
Al-Takarash.
Al-Takarash.
Wa-Al-Tashikwat.
Wa-Al-Tashikwat.
Allah.
Allah.
Kayahana.
Kayahana.
Awayabika.
Ayamika.
Yahama Yawan.
Yahaya Yawan.
Wamashanayaka.
Wamashanayaka.
Nasha'awa.
Yasha'awa.
Rash.
Rash.
Al-Aimaka.
Al-Aimika.
Yairiyamwa.
Yahayamwa.
Sawad.
Sawad.
Wayatai Aitazwa.
Wa'ayatazwa.
Al-Tasapawanyaka.
Ayatazwamika.
Amara.
Ma'am.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Manakakina.
Manakaki.
Magoya.
Magoya.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yazaka.
Yasaka.
Shem Yasharava.
Shem Yasha'awa.
Iwad.
Iwad.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Nawa Aitazawa.
Wa'ayatazwa.
La.
La.
Ikadwa.
Kawa.
Alika.
Ayika.
Baya.
Baya.
Yakarathwa.
Baya.
Ahalia.
Ahai.
Idawam.
Ayawan.
Wayashima Alaya.
Wa'ayasha'awa.
Mawa Abba.
Maba'aba.
Wahagaria.
Wa'agaya.
Gabal.
Gabal.
Wa'amwan.
Wa'aywa.
Wa'amala.
Wa'ala.
Halasha.
Wa'asha.
Anyashabia.
Ayashabi.
Talawar.
Tazawar.
Gam Ashawar.
Ashawar.
Nalawa.
Naiwa.
Ayman.
Aywan.
Hayawa.
Ayawa.
Zarwad.
Zarai.
Labanya Lawat.
Labani Yawat.
Salah.
Salah.
Aishalaham.
Asayaham.
Kamadian.
Kamaya.
Kaisaya Sara'a.
Kasayah.
Kayabian.
Kayab.
Barakal.
Baraka.
Kwayashwa.
Kayashma.
Nashamadwa.
Mashwab.
Bayanda Ara.
Mabaya Ayo.
Hayawa.
Ayawa.
Daman.
Daman.
Laadma.
Naayma.
Shaitamwa.
Shatama.
Nadayabwa.
Kayabu.
Kairab.
Karai.
Wakazahaba.
Wakazaba.
Wakazabak.
Wakazaba.
Wakatazamana.
Wakazabina.
Khan Nasayakamwa.
Kama Shalikamu.
Ashah.
Ashah.
Amarwa.
Ahawar.
Anayara Shah.
Anayar Shah.
Lanawa.
Naiwa.
Ah.
Ah.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Alahayam.
Ayahayam.
Alahayam.
Ayahayam.
Salakia. See if there's one of them glass cups back there. Make me some soda. Wash it out first, boss.
Come.
Salakia.
What type of soda you want, sir?
There should be apple soda in there. Alahayam.
Ayahayam.
Shaitamwa.
Shalikamu.
Kagagala.
Kamu.
Kakwash.
Kwa.
Lapanya Rakah.
Ayahayam.
Come. Wash it out first. Rinse it up. Yeah. Come. Ka'ash.
Kaash.
Tabairi Ira.
Ayahayam.
Makalaba.
Wakazaba.
Talaat.
Tawa.
Hayam.
Ayahayam.
Kantaradapma. Basa Irika. Wabasa Pasta. Daba Alam. Mala'a. Panyam. Kwalawan. Wayabakwashwa. Shemka. Yahawa. Yabashwa. Wayabahalwa. Aya Ay. Wayakapalwa. Wayabadwa. Wayadaiwa. Kaya. Ata. Shemka. Yahawa. Labaka. Al Yawan. Al Kalha Arakaza. In the English, keep not thy silence, O power. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites,
The Ishmaelites.
of Moab,
Moab.
and the Hagrid,
The Hagarim.
Gabal,
Gabal.
and Ammon,
The Ammon.
and Amalek,
And Amalek.
the Philistines,
Philistine.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also was joined with them.
Saul also joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They hoping the children of Lot.
Salah,
Salah.
do unto them as unto the Midianites.
Do unto them unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera,
As to Sarah.
as to Jabin,
As to Ben.
at the brook of Kishon,
At the brook of Kishon.
which perished at Endor.
Who perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became dumb for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb,
Make their nobles like a red.
and like Zahab.
Like Zion.
Yea,
Yea.
or their princes,
For their princes.
as the Ba,
As a Ba.
and as Amunah,
As Amun.
who said,
Who said.
let us take to ourselves
Let us take to ourselves
the house of the power
the house of the power
in possession
in possession
of my power.
of my power.
Make them like a wheel,
Make them like a wheel,
as a stubble before the wind,
and they stumble before the wind,
as the fire burneth for wood,
and the fire burns wood,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
and the flame set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them
So persecute them
with thy tempest,
with thy tempest,
and make them afraid
make them afraid
with thy storm.
with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy
that
name.
they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
let them be confounded
let them be confounded
and troubled forever.
and troubled forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame
let them be put to shame
and perish,
and perish.
that men may know
That they may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone is
whose name known is
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
of the Lord's hood,
of the Most High,
over all the earth.
of all the earth.
Blessings in the Hebrew, Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Why Yahweh Shai?
Why Yahweh?
Why Mayakah?
Why Yahweh?
Why Alahaya?
Why Yahweh?
V'tazab Yahah.
Because Yahweh.
Alawat Yahanna.
I walk them.
Ha Alawapya.
I walk them.
Ha Saranya.
I surrender.
Ha Kwatazayanya.
I cut the Zion.
Ha Kayayaya.
I cut the Zion.
Waha Akwafya.
Why I conquer.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
By Shem Yahweh Shai.
Why Shem Yahweh?
The White Amman.
The Bible of Man.
English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Blessed be Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Yahweh.
And Michael.
And Mike.
And the angels.
And angels.
Commanding General Yohanan.
Commander General Yohanan.
The generals.
The general.
The captains.
The captain.
Officers.
The officer.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And assistants.
And the assistants.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Bless Israel. Okay, so curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth,
King of heaven and earth,
and all things living.
and all things living.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
In the name of Yahweh.
bless. Listen to us now,
Listen to us now.
right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses,
Send evils and
and
curses,
punishment and destruction
punishment and destruction
to the heathen
to the heathen
that speak against us,
speaking against us.
thy prophets,
That prophet,
the teachers,
the teachers,
the princes,
the princes,
the priests,
the priests,
the Israelite brothers,
the Israelite brothers,
and the school.
in the school.
Send evils and curses,
Send evils and curses,
and punishment and destruction
punishment and
to
destruction
the heathen,
to the heathen,
and shake loose the treasure
and shake loose the treasure
of the rich of Israel
of the rich Israel
that refuse to give to the school.
that refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches
Force their riches
to enter into thy sanctuary.
into our sanctuary.
Send evils and curses,
Send evils and curses,
and punishment and destruction
and punishment and destruction
to the Edomites
to the Edomites
and their nations,
and their nations,
and their drug dealers,
and their drug dealers,
court system,
court system,
prison system,
prison system,
Planned Parenthood,
Planned Parenthood,
all the governments of our enemies,
all the governments of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church,
Pope,
the Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia,
militia,
Ku Klux Klan,
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
Aryan Nation,
skinheads,
skinhead,
Posse Comitatus,
Posse
gay
Comitatus,
movement,
gay movement,
lesbian movement,
lesbian movement,
spies,
spies,
workers of witchcraft,
workers of witchcraft,
NASA Space Program,
NASA Space Program,
Army,
Army,
Navy,
Navy,
Marine Air Force,
Air Force,
Marines,
Marine,
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet
Open up the internet
and the airwaves,
and the airway,
cable access channels,
cable access channel,
and the radio channels.
and the radio channel.
Convict the spirit
Convict the spirit
of any of our people
of any of our people
that seek to stop us
that seek to stop us
and bring swift destruction
and bring swift
to
destruction
all the heathen
to all the heathen
that stand in the way
that stand in our way
or try to stop us
or try to stop us
from broadcasting your words
from broadcasting your words
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the planets,
And loose all the planets,
causing them to go to and fro
calling go to and fro
through the earth
through the earth
and consume them.
and consume them.
Let the plague shake
Let the plague shake
the house of the thief
the house of the thief
and the murderer.
and the murderer.
Let Yahushua,
And Yahweh,
Michael and Gabriel
Michael and Gabriel,
come down with the flying saucers
come down with the flying saucers
and punish all the heathen
and punish all the heathen
that come up against us
that come up against us
as we speak thy word.
as we speak thy word.
Cause we known by all
Because we know by all
that is the angels that have done it.
that it is the angels that have done it.
Cause we struck to the media
Because we be spread to the media
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake it thy come.
Because the shake to our come.
In the name of Yahushua,
In the name of Yahweh,
thank you.
thank you,
Always,
always,
so be it.
so be it.
Wait, you was reading out the other one? Yeah, the president there, don't read those.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Saw which means turn. Yeshua, which means to be seated. Give me one sec. Sure.
Salakia, sir, that's Second Chronicles 9 and 6.
Yeah.
How come?
That's what we're starting at. I just gotta do something real quick.
Oh man. Yes.
As the brother just said, we're doing Salakia. Bear with us 2 seconds. We're doing first. We saw that Second Chronicles 9, chapter 9, verse 6. As always, we're gonna get it started in the Hebrew and then move over to the English. All right. All right. Wala'aha amanathia la the bar yahum I ashar ba'athia wa tara'ayana ayanya wahana la hagad la ya hadazaya marabia kakamathka yasapath il hashamawai ashar Shamaithia, 7, Asharia, Anash Yaka, Wa Asharia, Ibad Yaka, Allah, Ha, Ibadium, La Panya Yaka, Tamayad, Wa Shamayim, Ka, Kakamathka, Yahweh, Allahayaka, Barwak, Ashar, Kapataza, Baka, Lathath, Ayo, Kasa'al, La Malak, La Yahweh, Allahayaka, Ba'ahabath, Allahayaka, Yasharala, Laha I Mayadwa, La I Walam, Wayatanga, Al Yaham, La Malak, La I Shawath, Ma Shapat, Wa Tazadakwa, 9, Wathathan, La Malak, Ma'a, Wa Aisharayim, 110, 110 something. Kakar, that's Ma'a Wa Aisharayim. 120, I'm sorry, 120. Aisharayim is 20. Aishara is 10, Aisharayim is 20. Or you can also say Shanyam, which can also mean 20. Come. Kakar, Zahab, Wabashamyam, Larab, Ma'ad, Wa'aban, Yaquara, Wala, Haya, Kabasham, Hahawa, Ashar, Nathana, Malakath, Shabbat, Lamalak, Shalama. 10. Wagam, Ibadia, Hayaram, Ibadia, Shalama, Ashar, Habaya, Bayo, Zahab, Wapayar, Habaya, Itazaya, Alagawam, Yum, Wa'aban, Yaquara. 11. Ya'ish, Hamalak, Itazaya, Alagawam, Yum, Masalawaf, Labayath, Yahweh, Labayath, Hamalak, Kanarwath, Nabalium, La Shariam, Wala Nara, Kaham, La Panyam, Barataza, Yahawada. 12. Wahamalak, Shalama, Kanano, Nathan, La Malakath, Shabal, Kal, Kapataza, Ashar, Shala, Malabad, Ashar, Habaya, Al, Hamalak, Tahapak, Talak, Rataza, Haya, Badia. All right. There's verse 6 in the English. Salaki, I'm in the wrong. Okay, yeah. Here it is. Howbeit I believed not their words until I came, and mine eyes had seen it, and behold, the one half of the greatness of thy wisdom was not told me. So we're still dealing with the Queen of Sheba, which is, if I'm not mistaken, Ethiopia, a portion of Ethiopia. I know Ethiopia at one point was split into a northern and southern. I want to say Sheba is the southern part of Ethiopia. So, yeah, Khan. So we're still seeing that conversation, but hold, greatness of thy wisdom was not told me, for thou seest the fame that I heard. 7. Happy are thy men, and happy are these thy servants, which stand continually before thee and hear thy wisdom. 8. Blessed be the Most High thy power, which delighted in thee to set thee on his throne, to be king for the Most High thy power, because thy power loved Israel to establish them forever. Therefore made he thee king. Made he the king over them. Your foundation. To do judgment and justice. 9. And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices great abundance, and precious stones. Zahab is gold. Neither was there any such spice as the queen of Sheba gave King Solomon. 10. And the servants also of Huram, and the servants of Solomon, which brought gold from Ophir, also algume trees and precious stones. 11. And the king made of the algume trees terraces to the house of the Most High, and to the king's palace, and harps and psalters for singers, and there were none such seen before in the land of Judah. 12. And King Solomon gave to Queen of Sheba all her desire, whatsoever she asked, besides that which she had brought unto the king. So she turned and went away to her own land, she and her servants. YAHANNA, verse 13. YAHANNA, Mashakwal, Hazab, Ashar, Ba'a, La Shalama, Bashana, Akath, Shasha, Ma'awa, Wa Shashayim. So that's Shasha Ma'awa, Wa Shashayim is 600. Shasha Ma'awa would be 600. Wa Shashayim would be 60. So that's and 60. So that's 660. Wa Shashayim and 6. So 666. Kakaya Zahab. 14. Labad Ma'anashia Hatharyam Wahasakaryam Mabayayam Wakal Malakya Irab Wapakwa Ha'arataza Mabayayam Zahab Wakasab La Shalama. 15. Ya'ish Ha Malak Shalama Ma'afyam Tazana Zahab Shakawat Shasha Mawaf Zahab Shakawat Ya'ila Il Ha Tazana Ha Akath. 16. Shalash Ma'af Maganyam. 600 shields of gold. 600 gold shields. That's why you need to be in these Hebrew classes, because the more you go to Hebrew class, the easier it'll become, where you don't even have to necessarily do much. You just have to basically know how to read. So that's 16. That's Wa Shalash Ma'awa Maganyam. That's 600 shields. No, that's 300 shields. I'm sorry. Shalash is 300. Zahab Shakawat Shalash Ma'awat Zahab Ya'ila Il Hamagan Ha'akath Wayatanam Ha Malak Babayath Yair Halaban 1. 17. Ya'ish Ha Malak Kasa'a Shan Gadawal Tazapa Zahab Tahawur. 18. Washisha Ma'ilawaf Lakasa Wakabash Bazahab Lakasa Ma'akazyum Wayadawaf Mazah Mazah Al Makwawam Hashabath Shanyam Arayawaf Al-Madium Atazal Hayadwath 19. Shanyam Aishara. Okay. Arayawaf Al-Madium Sham Il Shasha Hama'ilwath Mazah Mazah La'a Na'aisha Khan Lakal Mama Laka. All right. Get the rest of this. 13. Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 603 score, and 6 talents of gold. That's 666. Okay. Besides that which chapmen and merchants brought, and all the kings of Arabia and governors of the country brought gold and silver to Solomon. And now understand that's 666 talents yearly. I'm not sure the exact amount, but that's how much he got in taxes from other nations in the year. Brought gold and silver to Solomon. And King Solomon made 200 targets of beaten gold. 600 shekels of beaten gold went to one target. 16. And 300 shields made he of beaten gold. I'll have the brother get me the dictionary so I can look up what it means by target. 300 made he and 300 shields made he of beaten gold. 300 shekels of gold went to one shield. Yeah, so that's thousands of shekels of gold. Okay? And the king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon. And as y'all remember from reading the book of Kings, the Babylonians came and stole these, and then they had to replace them with bronze ones because they were stolen. Okay? "17. Moreover, the king made a great throne of Uri and overlaid it with pure gold. And there were 6 steps to the throne with a footstool of gold, which were fastened to the throne, and stays on each side of the sitting place, and 2 lions standing by the stays. And 12 lions stood there on the one side, and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom." So his throne was luxurious. So imagine basically like the podium. The podium had a set of steps leading up to a throne. And then he had his throne made of pure gold. And then next to the throne, he had 2 armrests, right? He had 2 armrests. And then directly next to the armrest was 2 lions. Honestly, me personally, I wouldn't even have regular armrests. The lions would be the armrest. And then he had a golden footstool to put his feet on. Okay, Solomon liked to ball. Okay, that's what this verse is basically telling you. And the luxuriousness of his kingdom. All right, let's get back into this. Verse 20. This is the 3rd set. Okay. Wakal Kalia, Mashakwa, Hamalat, Shalama, Zahab, Wakal, Kalia, Bayab, Yair, Ha Laban 1, Zahab, Ka Usalaki, Sagawar, Ayan, Kasab, Nakashab, Bayamya, Shalama, La Ma'awama, Kaya, 21, Anayawath, La Malak, Ha Lakawath, Tarash Yash, Ain, Ibadia, Kawaram, Akaf, La Shalawash, Shanyam, Tabawana, Anyawath, Tarashash, Nasha'awa, Zahab, Wakasap, Shanahabyam, Wakwawapayam, Watawayam, 22. Wayagadal, Ha Malak, Shalama, Malak, Salakia, Makal, Malakia, Ha Arataza, La Aishara, Waha Kama, 23, Wakal, Malakia, Ha Arataza, Ma Bakwashya, Ak, Panya, Shalama, La Shamai, Af, Ha Kamath, Ashar, Nathan, Ha Alahayam, Balabwa, 24. Waham, Mabayayam, Ayash, Manakathwa, Kalia, Kasab, Wakalia, Zahab, Washalam, Wath, Nashak, Bashamayam, Sawasyam, Paradyam, Dabar, Shana, Bashana, 25. Hayam, La Shalama, Arabai, Alapyam, Arayawath, Sawasyam, Markabwath, Shanyam, Aishara, Alap, Parashyam, Wayan Yakam, Ba'aryam, Ha-Rakab, Wa'ain, Ha-Malak, Ba-Yarwashalam, 26, Wa-Yahaya, Mawashal, Bakal, Ha-Malakyam, Man, Ha-Nahar, Wa'aid, Arataza, Palashathium, Wa'aid, Gabawal, Matazarium. All right? All right, so that's the third set. We can do this in the English. John 20. And all the drinking vessels of King Solomon were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. It was not anything accounted It was not anything accounted of in the days of Solomon. 21. For the king's ships went to Tarshish with the servants of Huram. Every 3 years once came the ships of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, uri and apes and peacocks. So yeah, we were also not only importers of jewelry, we were also importers of fine animals. We had apes and peacocks from Tarshish. It could possibly be for feather reasons that we got the peacocks, but yeah, there's no purpose for apes. Neither of those are edible. Well, I'm not sure. Can you? I'll double check, but I don't think peacocks are edible. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say that question, like, what's the need for peacocks and apes?
Huh?
I mean, what's the need? You know, what is the need for like importing those type of exotic animals?
Why not?
To that region, you know.
Why not? What's the nature of having them out here?
Well, the thoughts that I'm getting is just because we can.
Okay, we can do what? I can defecate in the middle of the street. What's the purpose of that, though? Like, why do we today have animals? Why do we import animals? Like apes and owls and tigers and stuff like that.
Basically, sir, just for entertainment purposes.
By we, I mean the United States, Slovakia. Not. But why? That was a good answer. You said what?
Entertainment.
Give me a type of entertainment.
Because we're not used to seeing anything like that, you know what I'm saying, normally. So there's a economic there's an economic base for people to pay to see exotic animals.
Okay, you're using a lot of E words, and those are all right. But there's one E word that trumps them all, that explains it. It's nice. You want to be entertained by animals. You can make some money off animals economically, right? But what's the main purpose on why I would want to see it? Remember, this is Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Solomon?
Solomon is the king of Egypt. I mean, king of Israel.
Before?
Before he was the king?
Right.
He was the son of the son.
No, before that.
I'm sorry, so I don't know.
You don't know who Solomon was before he was what's called? Who was he?
Oh, before, who was he before that? He was Adam.
I'm trying not to get it. Okay, what is Adam known for doing?
For domesticated animals. Domesticating
How do you do that? How did he do that?
by instructions from the Most High.
Give me a little more, a little better.
He was
And I'm trying to remember, we're looking for an E word.
an E word.
An E word. I'll take an S word, which is in the same vein.
It was,
Remember, he's importing animals. In the United States, where do most imported animals go?
imported animals, mostly they go to farmlands.
They got tigers on farms?
Lies, I understand what you're talking about.
So where do most imported animals end up?
Only thing I can think of so is zoo.
The what?
The zoo.
The what?
The zoo.
And it's an E word. Who goes to the zoo to get what? You go to the zoo, or you take a certain group to the zoo to get educated. Right? Israel don't see peacocks. Israel don't see apes. Only way we're going to see apes and be able to learn about apes is if we import them so that we can study them. Zoos. We got reason you probably ain't seen a lot of other animals is because prior to the 20th century, during British imperialism, when the white man forced his way into the Middle East, we had wildlife. After imperialism, 90% of it was killed by the so-called white man, the devil in the earth. Okay, he killed 90% of our wildlife. So it could be that the only reason we imported those two specifically is that those are probably the only two that aren't really native or doesn't have at least a cousin in our region. Like we may have some type of cat. Like, well, we have the lion, but we may have a secondary, like our own type of panther, or our own type of leopard, right? So we don't need to worry about leopards. We may not have turkeys too much, but we got different varieties of chickens. We got buzzards, we got vultures. We don't necessarily need ravens, so on and so forth. And considering the two animals in question, I can see why they're mentioned. Okay, don't ask me the specifics on the difference, but I know one of them, either apes, gorillas, or both. I think only 2% of their bodies are fat. The rest is muscle. Translation. Without the use of tranquilizers and proper chains, Solomon said, go get me those gorillas. And someone was stupid enough to go get those gorillas. You know why? Because they knew Solomon had it like that. It took 300 shekels to make one shield for King Solomon. 300 pieces of gold for one shield. He made 300 shields. What's 300 times 300? I don't even want to deal with that. It's probably like 9,000 or 90,000 pieces of gold. I'm not stupid enough to go fighting a gorilla, but yeah. I can use $3 million.
Oh, God.
Like now I understand the cat from Tarzan, right? And the same thing, a peacock. Forget about it. I wonder how much a peacock costs today. If you try to buy a peacock right now, you're probably paying $1 million for that one ad. Oh, you know how beautiful a peacock is? Just imagine having a peacock in your backyard. People come over the house and come.
Oh, so like I said, just remember, Mike Tyson was known for that.
Having peacocks?
Having peacocks and exotic animals on his land.
And that's another thing you have to understand. The reason for the ape, he probably had that ape, had one of the apes personally. One thing is, you're familiar with the beast, with the eyes.
The what?
The beast.
The beast?
The beast. The beast in the Most High's throne room. The four beasts.
Oh, yeah, come.
The purpose of, you understand the purpose of those beasts?
Nah, sir.
Tony Montana. The reason every drug dealer has a pit bull. It exudes the idea of, I'm bad because I can control this beast.
Oh, God.
That's another reason a nigga might keep a gorilla. Like, just have him on a little kid, like, yeah, you see this gorilla? I'll wrestle this nigga. Don't fuck with me. Salaki for my language. But that's what that is. That's the same vein. I'll get a better understanding of the ape, but it's either more than likely for a zoo or for his own beautification and glory. One of the two. 22, and King Solomon passed all the kings of the earth in riches and wisdom. I'm going to have a conversation about that. 23. And all the kings of the earth sought the presence of Solomon to hear his wisdom that the power had put in his heart. And they brought every man his present, vessels of silver and vessels of gold and raiment, harness and spices, horses and mules, a rate year by year. This isn't just one time. They did this continually for years. 25. And Solomon had 4,000 stalls for horses and chariots, and 12,000 horsemen, whom he bestowed in the chariot cities, and with the king at Jerusalem. 26. And he reigned over all the kings from the river even unto the land of the Philistines, and to the border of Egypt. 27. Oh, Salakia. So what does that mean? He ruled the Philistines, the Africans that his father had to deal with. Who else did he rule? In that area. He ruled from the river. He ruled from our northern border all the way to our southern border, which is Egypt.
So if I may. So you're saying from Israel to Egypt.
Right.
That, you know what I'm saying, that land that we walked through the wilderness, all that was his up into the borders?
Basically, well, not entirely, but yeah. Meaning, because you're saying go around the wilderness. A wilderness is around our land. Like the wilderness isn't in our land. Our land would be stretched. But we did. We ended up taking control of Edom and Moab and Ammon. Right? So basically everything around us was under our control during the time of King Solomon.
Similar to like If I may, sir, similar to like the United States, all the Caribbean islands is pretty much under the United States.
Pretty much. Pretty much. It's absolutely right. And it's in the same vein, the vein of, okay, there's similar reasons. One, we had beef with them, so David went to war and subjugated them during his time. Two, like the world's learning about Russia and Ukraine, nobody likes their enemies being friends with their neighbors. Only an idiot would stand for that. Only an idiot. Right? A lot of times you don't have to worry about that because a lot of times your neighbors are your family, distant relatives. Like, for instance, the Chinese and Japanese. Or even the Russians and the Ukrainians. A lot of that is like Simeon and Levi. Anytime somebody tries to ostracize the other, it's like, y'all know how many of us is related? Like a Dominican will be like my aunt, cousin, husband, wife, a stepbrother is Haitian. And then a Haitian will say the same about a Dominican. Same thing with the Ukrainian, like the Ukraine and Russia. Like, yo, my cousin's Ukrainian, my husband's Ukrainian. I got a sister that live out there just studying. So it's like you got situations like that. So what he did, I'm gonna subjugate all y'all. Y'all all under me now. And eventually you'll see, like, as he was falling out of power, shortly before he died, Edom fell off and was able to leave through the power of the Most High. Now we're back in this, 27. Okay. Okay. Wayatan hamalak af ha-kasab baya Rashalam ka-abayim wa'af ha-arazyim Nathan kashakwam yim ashar ba shapala larab 28 wa mawatazar ya'ayim sawas yim mamatazar la shalama wa makal ha-aratazar wa sha'ar, so like this 29, the barya shalama ra'ashan yum wa ha'akar wan yum la ham kata wab yum ayo the barya Nathan hanabya while Nabwa Nabaya. Nabaya is a prophet. Akia Shayal Wanya Bakaz Ya'aya Kaza Ayo Yarabai Ban Nabat Waya Malak Shalama Baya Rashalam Ayo Kal Yasharala Arabai Yam Shana Waya Shakab Shana is year Waya Shakab Shalama Ain Abath Yua Waya Kwabara wa Ba'ayar Dawayad Abayawa Abayawa Waya Malak Rakabaim Banwa Dakath Yawa 10 Wayalak Rakabaim is Rehoboam Shakama Kaya Shakam Ba'a Kal Yasharala Laha Malayad Athwa. 2. YAHANNA. Kashmai Yarabaim. Ban Nabat Waha Bamatazarium. Ashar Barak Mapanya Shalma Hamalak Yashab Yarabaim Mamatazarium. Okay. 27. And the king made silver in Jerusalem as stones, and cedar trees made he as the sycamore trees that are in the low places in abundance. And they brought unto Solomon horses out of Egypt and out of all lands. Now the rest of the acts of Solomon, first and last, are they not written in the book of Nathan the prophet, in the prophecy of Ahijah the Shilonite, and in the visions of Ado the seer against Jeroboam the son of Nebat? Okay, now what is this talking about?
So like it's again.
Verse 29. Now the rest of the acts of Solomon, first and last, are they not written in the book of Nathan the prophet, and in the prophecy of Ahijah the Shilonite, and in the visions of Edo the seer against Jeroboam the son of Nebat? So what are these books? You ever heard of these? The book of Nathan?
The book of Nathan?
Yeah.
Nah, sir. Never heard of the book of Nathan.
You think it exists?
If it did, like all the other, you know what I'm saying, books that's supposed to be like the the book of Enoch, and if it did
The book of Enoch is real.
So like sir?
The book of Enoch existed.
Gone. But it didn't have, but we don't have no, we only have we don't have the book per se. So like book of Nathan, it didn't, it wasn't with the other books.
Okay, here's how you want to answer that and answer it more properly. It existed, we have no record of it to this day. It was wiped out more than likely during the times of Babylon or 70 AD. Any record of it is now long gone, along with any other book that was just mentioned in this verse. Which sucks because it's a great, what's called, of our nation, because we get to see, especially these books that we don't have. Because why is it important? Because what we're reading now is like a very small time of prosperity for our nation. Our nation has not prospered usually throughout history. This is one of the few times we can say we did. And to say that we barely have any record of that history or that time period is dismal. So, 30, and Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers, and he was buried in the city of David his father. And Rehoboam his son reigned in his stead. 10 and 2. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for to Shechem were all Israel come to make him king. 2. And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was in Egypt, whither he had fled from the presence of Solomon the king, Shalom, everyone, heard it, that Rehoboam returned out of Egypt. Okay. Shalakwa, Korawa, Loa, Ba'a, Rabbi, Wakal, Yasharala, Dabarwa, Al, Rakab, Bain, La Amar, 4, Abayaka, Hakwasha, Af, Al Noah, Wa'aitha, Hakwal, Ma'aiba Wad Daf, Abayaka, Hakwasha, Wa Ma'aywa, Hakabad Ashar, Nathan, Al Yud Nawa, Wa Na'ai Badka, Wa Ya'amar, Allahum, Iwad, Shalashaf, Yam Yam, Wa Shawabwa, Alia, Wa Yalak, Haim, 6, Wa Itaza, Ha Malak, Rakabaim, Af, Ha Zakwan Yum, Ashar, Ha Yawa, Imad Yum, Lapanya, Shalama, Abayawa, Bahayath wa Kaya, Latmar Ayak, Atham, Nawa I Tazayam, Lahash Yab, Laim, Haza, Dabar, 7. Waya Dabarwa, Allah Yawa, Latmar Tahaya, Latawab, Lahaim, Haza, Wa Raktaza Yitham, Wa Dabarath, Alam, Dabaryam, Tawabyam, Wa Hayawa, Laka, Ibadyam, Kal, Ha Yum Yum, Waya Izab, we in 8 now. Av, Itazav, Ha Zakwan Yum, Ashar, Ya Tazawa, Wa Taza, Av, Ha Yalad Yum, Ashar, Gadalwa, Aswa, Haimad Yum, Lapan Yawa. 9. Waya Amar Alaham, Ma, Atham, Nawa Itazayam, Wanashyab, Dabar Af, Haim, Haza Ashar, Dabarwa, Alaya, La'amar Hakwal, Man, Hail, Ashar, Nathan, Abayaka, Al Yanawa. All right. 10 and 3. And they sent and called him. So Jeroboam and all Israel came and spake to Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore ease thou somewhat the grievous servitude of thy father and his heavy yoke that he put upon us, and we will serve thee. Meaning what? What is this talking about? Solomon did not enslave Israel, which is a sin. You can, however, tax Israel heavy, which is something the Most High warned Israel about.
So if I may, now you're saying Solomon did not really sin against Israel in sake of the taxes? He just taxed them heavy?
He did not enslave Israel.
No.
That's a sin.
No.
However, heavy taxes is not a sin.
Heavy taxes is not sin.
No. The Most High warned Israel of this. Israel went to Samuel complaining, we want a king. The Most High said, okay, when that nigga takes all your sons and sends them to war, simply because somebody called him a bad name, don't come to me. I put him in charge. So whatever he says goes. When he wants to take all your daughters and use them, to be in his kitchens, don't come to me. I put him in charge because you asked for it. When he wants to overcharge you in taxes, don't come to me. I put him in charge because you asked. None of those are sins. Are those righteous and brotherly things to do and wise action for a king? No. And even in the case of Solomon, it wasn't even unrighteous. I'm trying to make us a world superpower. I'm trying to make us an industrial nation. Eggs got to be cracked. I'm sorry. However, it was Rehoboam's job to realize my father did his job. My father's made us industrious. We can survive without me beating you all over the head. Okay, my father had y'all paying 10p. I lower it to 5. So you just pay the federal 10, and then you pay the king 5 instead of 10 now. But you still have to pay the priest. You still have to pay your tithes. Solomon's tribute is separate from the tithes. And then not to mention, there's also would have to be regional and local. What were you going to ask?
So I was going to say, how you pronounce the Rehoboam?
Rehoboam, yeah.
Rehoboam, right? His son, when the tribes came to him and told him about, about
There's that here.
This is the moment in time,
right,
when the split is really about to happen.
Right.
How we going?
Okay, this is all over a lack of brotherhood. Come. Come.
So when his son, Rehoboam, is in power, he's the king, they still flourish. Is that correct? They flourishing like everything is good. You know what I'm saying? Why not lower? I don't understand why not lower taxes if we already, we already,
Right. Right? Okay. 5, and he said unto them, come again unto me after 3 days. And the people departed. 6, and King Rehoboam took counsel with the old men that had stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, saying, what counsel give me to return answer to this people? 7, and they spake unto him, saying, if thou be kind to this people, and please them, and speak good words to them, they will be thy servants forever. 8, but he forsook the counsel which the old men gave him, and took counsel with the young men that were brought up with him, that stood before him. Now, mind you, these are old men, like these are his father's advisors. Instead of listening to them, he wants to listen to his friends, which more than likely are Solomon's friends.
So if I may, his entourage.
What?
It's pretty much his entourage. Yes, man.
Yes, but you think he's grown up with a lot of Northern Kingdom?
Nah, sir.
And if he is, what can you probably tell me about that Northern Kingdom family?
If he is running with them?
With some Northern Kingdom brothers, what can you say about their family?
Oh, what can I say, or are you referring to?
Judged by the fact that he's friends with the king of Judah, what can you say about that Northern Kingdom family?
You can't say anything about it.
No, you can say something. More than likely, well, this is a guesstimation, but more than likely, if you're friends with the king/prince, right, what does that say more than likely about your family? Your family probably also. Your family's probably also in that same position. You're not regular Northern Kingdom. You're rich Northern Kingdom. You're next to Solomon. Like, you don't really worry about paying high taxes. That's what you need to understand. A lot of these cats are people who probably would benefit from higher taxes. Because these are all his friends. I don't know about you, all my friends get government jobs. You know who pays for government jobs? Taxpayers. Man, fuck them. I need a bonus. You said you're going to start me in the Department of Justice. That's a $500,000 bonus while I'm signing. You lower taxes, that's only $100. Yo, off them. Right? So, let's see. 9, and he said unto them, what advice give ye that we may return answer to this people. Notice he says we. You're the king, buddy. You didn't even say that to your father's counselors, but you said it to your friends. We. Because what? That's your entourage. That's not just your entourage, that's your new administration. That's your cabinet. That's the people who's also going to eat off those taxes. Right? Which have spoken to me, saying, ease somewhat the yoke that thy father did put upon us. And he said somewhat. So if he had said 2%, all right, we could work with that. 8's better than 10. Only got to pay. I get to keep. Yeah, so that's you take 80 instead of 100. I'm left with 20. An extra 20 I didn't have. I understand it. And even if you're not a talk, like I could have swindled that lovely. Like, yeah, I'm gonna take 2% off and make y'all 8. And if y'all got a problem with that, no sweat. Anyone who has a problem with that, raise your hand. And all the tribes that raise their hand, okay, no sweat. What's called, we'll lower your taxes and we'll also lower your military support. So if niggas try to come into your land and invade the nice shit that I've given you in the past few years, don't come front with me. Because you didn't want to pay the taxes. Then people will readjust and what's called. There's ways to get around that. This idiot just wants to be an idiot. And we're going to get into how stupid and just unbrotherly that brother was. We finish this. 10. All right, so 10 to 16. And this is the 6th set, right? All right. Wayadabarwa, Athwa, Hayaladium, Ashar, Gadalwa, Athwa, La Amarka, Ta Amar Laim, Ashar, Dabarwa, Alayaka, La Amar Abayaka, Hakakayad, Al Noah, Wa'atha, Hakwal, Ma'al Yanaw, Ka, Ta'amar, Allaham, Kwatanya, Iba, Mamath, Naya, Abaya, Wa'aitha, there's 11. Abaya, Ha'anya, Yas, Al Yakam, Al, Kabad, Wa'anya, Asayad, Al Alakam, Abaya, Yasar, Athakam, Bashawat, Wa'anya, Ba'akwarab, 12. Wayaba'a, Yarabain, Wakal, Hain, Al, Rakabain, Bayawam, Ha-Shalash, Ka'ashar. Salafia, let me get a little bit more. If you got ginger ale, let me get ginger ale. Ka'ashar, the bar, the water. Ha-Malak, La'amar, Shawab, Alaya, Bayawam, Ha-Shalash, 13. Wa'ya'inam, Ha-Malak, Kosha, Wa'ya'izab, Ha-Malak, Rakabai, Av, Aitazav, Hazakwan, young, Wa'yadabar, Allaham, Ka'aitazav, Ha-Yaladium, La'amar, Kabayad, Af, Alakam, Wa'anya, Asayat, Al-Yuwa, Abaya, Yasar, Athakam, Tuwada, Ba'ashawat, Wa'anya, Ba'akwarab, 15. Wala'a, Shamai, Hamalak, Al Hain Kaya Hayatha Nasaba Main Ha Alahayam La Main Ha Kwayam Yahweh As Debarwa Ashar Debar Bayad Ak Yaw Ha Shalawan Ya Al Yarabain Ban Nabat 16 Wakal Yasharala Kaya La'a Shemai Hamalak Laham Waya Shayab Haim Al Hamalak La'amar Ma Lanawa Halak Badawada Wala Nakala Baban Yashaya Ban Yashaya Ayash La'aha, that's a son of Jesse, just so you know. La'ahalyaka Yashrala Aitha Ra'a Bayaska Dawayad Wayalak Kal Yashrala La'ahal Yawa. I started at 10, right? 10, the young men that were brought up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou answer the people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it somewhat lighter for us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. 11. For whereas my father put a heavy yoke upon you, I will put more to your yoke. My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the third day, as the king bade, saying, Come again to me on the third day. And the king answered them roughly, and King Rehoboam forsook the counsel of the old men. What did those men tell him to tell the people? Barazah, you understand?
Sorry, sir.
My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. What is that? Do you understand what it means?
Yeah, come.
What?
He's saying that he pretty much his loins is much bigger than his father's. Like he's more bolder than his father.
But what is he actually trying to say? Like, what is he referencing?
Oh,
because he said.
Well, he's referencing his testicles.
Not the testicles. Something well next to it. His rod. He's basically saying my finger will be bigger than my father's rod. Yeah, come. Yeah, my pinky will be bigger than my father's rod. Like, you think he's bad? I'm worse. My father was beating y'all with whips. I'm gonna beat you with scorpions. Right? And he answered the people roughly. They don't want to hear that. And answered the 14, and answered them after the advice of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, but I will add thereto. My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. 15. So the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was of the power, that the Most High might perform his word, which he spake by the hand of Ahijah the Shilamite to Jeroboam the son of Nebat. And when all Israel saw that the king would not hearken unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? And we have none inheritance in the son of Jesse. every man to your tents, O Israel. And now, David, see to thine own house. So all Israel went to their tents. Right? And this is important. This is an important scripture to always go through.
So like it, sir. When you say, so all Israel went to their tent. So this is so right after the statement when Jeroboam made, they just left.
Jeroboam
left. That means the northern kingdom just left.
Right.
On that note.
Right. Meaning the leaders and heads of the northern kingdom came down to speak to Rehoboam about getting the taxes lowered.
Come.
He spoke roughly. So basically, all right, that's what. Let's get out of here. Everybody go home. You do it your own house from now on. We're not dealing with you. You refuse to hear us, so we're leaving. And that's what they did. God. Tent is another word for house also. A hall. A hall means tent or tabernacle.
Oh, God.
16. Okay, verse 4. All right. Ooh, shit.
Yalah?
Huh?
What?
Yeah, God. Okay. Why?
Just the whole.
God. Waban 17. Wabanya Yashrala ha Yashab Yom Ba'araya Yahawada Wa Yamalak Al Yom Rakabaim 18. Wa Yashalak Hamalak Rakabaim Az Hadaram Ashar Al Hamas Waya Ragamwa Bawa Banya Yasharala Aban Waya Math. What, you out of here?
Yeah, cut.
Oh, okay. Waya Math Wahamalak Rakabayan Hata Mataza La'al Wath Bamarakaba Lanawas Yarashalam 19. Waya Pashaiwa Yasharala Babayath Dawayad I Hayawan Hazar 11:1. Waya Ba'a Rakabayan Yarashalam Waya Kwahal Af Bayath Yahawada Wa Ban Yaman Ma'al Wa Shamawanyam Alap Bakawar Aisha Malakama Laha Lakam Aim Yasharala Laha Shayab Af Ha Mamalaka La Rakabayim 2. Wa Yahaya Dabar Yahweh Al Shammai Yahweh Ayash Ha Alahayam La Amar, a man of the Lord. Ayash Ha Alahayam, man of the power. La Amar, to say. Amar Al Rakabayim Ban Shalama, son of Solomon, king of Judah, Wa'al and also all Israel, by YAHANNA, Ban Yaman, La Amar, saying, for this is why you need to be in that Hebrew class, because I'm half translating it myself as I read. Ka Amar Yahweh La'a Ta'aywa Wa La'a Ta'ala Ain Aka Yakam Shawab Yatwa Ayash Labayaf Wa Kaya Ma'af Ya Naha Ya Hadabar Hazar Waya Shemaiwa Af Dabarya Yahweh Waya Shabwa Malaka Al Yarabaim. All right. 7. But as for the 17, but as for the children of Israel that dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then King Rehoboam sent Hadoram, that was over the tribute, and the children of Israel stoned him with stones, that he died. But King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. And Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he gathered of the house of Judah and Benjamin 104,000 chosen men, which were warriors, and to fight against Israel, that he might bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam. But the word of the Most High came to Shemaiah, the man of the power, saying, speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all Israel and Judah and Benjamin, saying, thus saith the Most High Power, ye shall not go up nor fight against your brethren. Return every man to his house, for this thing is done of me. And they obeyed the words of the Most High and returned from going against Jeroboam. What, he went to the store?
Oh, no, I think he got something in his car.
Okay. All right, so that's basically it. Split of Judah and Ephraim, or the southern and northern kingdom. This is how the two kingdoms split. Okay. So that's basically the gist of it. As you can see, Rehoboam did try to get it back, but the Most High quickly stopped him and said, do not go up and fight them. This is of God. This is of me. Like, I believe if you go in Kings, it'll tell you, he specifically says, do not go up and fight your brothers. Though our nation has been split, we are still one family.
Oh, God.
And now at this point, that doesn't matter because our nation is commanded to come back together as one, under one body in rulership and leadership. So, you had anything to add or question, Pratha?
So if I may, 2 Chronicles chapter 10. That's pretty much the start of the split. 2 Chronicles chapter 10. That's the start off from 10 to 1. That's that split starting to happen.
You're better off using 2 Kings 11.
2 Kings 11?
2 Kings, the 11th chapter.
11.
Because that starts with the Rehoboam did nothing. Rehoboam is not the reason for the split. Solomon is.
Come.
2 Kings, or is it 1 Kings? I want to say 1 Kings actually. Hold up.
So if I may, I was just talking about, you know what I'm saying?
Explaining the split.
The straw that broke the camel's back, for the lack of, the term. And that's what I mean, like,
the straw that broke the camel's back was Solomon.
Regardless. It was inside.
Hold up, let me get this. So the king hearkened, this is 10 and 15. So the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was of the power, that the Lord might perform his word. Right? Because he reformed the word to Solomon. Because what did he say? 11. Wherefore the Most High said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant. This is 1 Kings 11 and 11. And thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and I will give it to thy servant. 12. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it, for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Rehoboam only said that and chose to listen to his friends because the Most High wanted him to. Otherwise, he would have listened to the others and kept the nation together. But because of Solomon's actions, the Most High guided that brother down the wrong path. You're good. That was everything, right?
So, oh, well, next week it will be
11 and 5.
11 and 5.
Is that Majam, which means to stand. Shapar. Yayan, which means wine. Sha'ala, which means to Israel. I like the small one better. Come. Now we're going to do the Lord's Prayer. We're going to do the prayers. Imagine, which means to stand. Sawa Panya Hakodam, which means turn to face the east. And do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakuka. Taba'ah. Ratzaka. Hayah. Aisha. Baratiza. Kuwa. Hayah. Bashamayim. Natananawa. Makab. Ka. Yawan. Masalakanawa. Hawatanawa. Haslakanawa. Hawatiyanawa. Mala'ah. Ayanawa. Tabia Ayanawa. Banasalawan. Ball. Hawashayanawa. Mayan. Ra. Kaya. Lakya. Hamalakwa. Ha'ala. Tafara. Ha'ulamim. Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it. Hakat, the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua. Natan, Babkushah. Natananawa. Hakat. Laba'ah. Kabakala. Kamarawa. Hakat. Latahar. Amtakaraya. Hakat. Lahakim. Hamakim. Hakat. Arakawa. Hatamala. Ngarshan. Ba'ashem Yahushua, the Wadaman. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, please, give us the power. Power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. Power to cleanse the lepers. Power to raise the dead. Power against unclean spirits. Cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah. Ayanya. Al-Hahayim. Bayan. Yaba'ah. Isaiah Ma'an. Yahweh. Aisha. Shamayam. Waratizah. Al-Dithan. Lamuwat. Regalka. Al-Yanawam. Shamaka. Hanalaha. Yanawam. Walaha. Yaishan. Shalamah. Yasharala. Yahweh. Shamaka. Yahweh. Tizalka. Aliyah. Yanyanka. Yawma. Hashamash. La'ah. Yakaka. Wayarach. Balayala. Yahweh. Yashmaka. Makarad. Yashma. Aznapashka. Yahweh. Yashma. Tazaaska. Wabuaka. Ma'aika. Ma'ad Ayalam. I lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help comes from Yahweh. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel. That neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day. Nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out. And thy coming in. From this time forth. And even forevermore. Psalm 33 in the Hebrew. Al-Lahayim. Al-Dam Yalakah. Alta Karash. Wa Alta Shakwat. Allah. Kayahana. Awayadika. Yahama Yawan. Wamashanayaka. Nasha'awa. Ra'ash. Al-Amaka. Yariyamwa. Sawad. Wayatay Aitazawa. Alta Zapuanika. Amarwa. Rakawa. Wanakakira. Lagoya. Wala'a. Yazaka. Shamyasharala. Aiwa. Kaya. Nawa Aitazawa. La. Yakadwa. Alika. Bayra. Yakaratwa. Ahalia. Adawam. Yashma'alia. Malaba. Wahagaya. Gabal. Wa'amawan. Wamala. Salakli. Palashah. I'm Yashabia. Tazawar. Gam Ashawar. Nalawa. Imam. Hayawa. Zarwai. Labanya Lawat. Salah. Ashalaham. Manyan. Kasaya Sarah. Hayabia. Banakar. Wayashlam. Nashamadwa. Bayanda Ara. Hayawa. Daman. Ladama. Shetamwa. Nadayapwa. Karab. Wakazaba. Wakazabak. Wakazamana. Karnasir Kamwa. Ashar. Amara. Nairasha. Lanawa. Salaki, call us to SHALAM and let them know I'm doing prayers.
Come.
I know what, Khan. Lanawa. Nawa. Alhayam. Shaitamwa. Kagagala. Kakwash. Lapanya Rakah. Kaash. Tabaira. Wakalaba. Talat. Hayam. Kantaradapma. Basarika. Wabasapaka. Babalam. Tabahalam. Okay. Malaa. Panyam. Kwalawan. Wayabakwashwa. Shamka. Yawa. Yabashwa. Wayabahalwa. Adi. Wayakaparwa. Wayabadwa. Wayadaiwa. Kaya. Ata. Shamka. Yahawa. Labaka. Aliyawan. Al-Kalha-Arataza. Keep not thy in English, keep not thy silence, O power.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
O power. Hold not thy peace. And be not still. O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee. Have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel. Against thy people. And consulted. Against thy hidden one. That said. They have said. Come. And let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So they have consulted together with one consent. What's up?
Yeah, consulted
Together with one consent.
Right. What do you say?
Oh, no, he just wanted to bring the wine.
Oh.
To the altar.
Come. With one consent. They have conferred against thee. The tabernacles of Edom. And the Israelites. Of Moab. And the Hagarenes. The Baal. And Ammon. And Amalek. The Philistines. With the inhabitants of Tyre. Asar also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them. As unto the Midianites. As to Sisera. As to Jabin. At the brook of Kison. Which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb. And like Zahab. Yea. All their princes. As the Ba. And as Amuna. Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of the power and possession.
I've added power.
Shut up, Alexa.
What else?
Alexa, shut up.
Okay.
Sorry. You know what, man.
12.
Yeah, time. All my power. Make them like a wheel. As a stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth the wood. And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest. And make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. That they may seek thy name. O Yahweh. Let them be confounded. In trouble forever. Yeah.
Yea,
Let them be put to shame
let them be put to shame
and perish.
and perish,
That men may know
that men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone is
whose name alone is
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
art the Most High
are the Most High
over all the earth.
over all the earth.
Blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh,
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh,
Mayaka Allah.
Yamaka Allah,
Alahayim.
Alahayim,
Tazabiah.
Watazabiyam,
Alawak Yahanna.
YAHANNA,
Alawakya.
Alawakya,
Saranya.
Sawanya,
Kotazayanya.
Watasayam,
Kayayalu.
Tayayam,
Kwakya.
Wahakwakya,
Yahweh.
Yahweh,
Hashem Yahushai.
Bahashim Yahushua,
Tuwadaman.
the Wadaman.
In the English, bless you Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh,
And Yahushai.
and Yahushua,
And Michael.
and Michael,
And the angels.
and the angels,
Commanding General Yahanna.
Commanding General YAHANNA,
Generals.
the generals,
Captains.
the captains,
Officers.
the officers,
The troopers.
the troopers,
And the sisters.
and the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh,
In the name of Yahushai.
in the name of Yahushua,
Thank you.
thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Curses. Sorry. Curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth,
King of heaven and earth,
and all things living.
and all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh,
In the name of Yahushai.
in the name of Yahushua,
Listen to us now.
listen to us now,
Right now.
right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses,
And punishment and destruction.
and punishments and destruction
And to the heathen
to the heathen
that speak against us.
that speak against
Thy
us
prophets.
as thy prophets,
The teachers.
the teachers,
The princes.
the princes,
The priests.
the priests,
The Israelite brothers.
the Israelite brothers,
And the school.
and the school.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses,
And punishment and destruction.
punishment and destruction
To the heathen.
to the heathen,
And shake loose the treasure
and shake loose the treasure
of the rich of Israel.
of the rich of Israel
That refuse to give to the school.
that refuse to give to the school,
For their riches.
force their riches,
To enter into thy sanctuary.
to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses,
And punishment and destruction.
and punishment and destruction
To the Edomites.
to the Edomites
And the nation.
and the nation,
And their drug dealers.
and their drug dealers,
Court system.
court system,
Prison system.
the prison system,
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood,
Or the governments of our enemies.
all the governments of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church,
The Pope.
the Pope,
Islam.
Islam, Christianity,
Egyptology.
Egyptology,
Militia.
militia,
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan,
Skinhead.
skinhead,
Wait till I get Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation,
Posse Comitatus.
Posse Comitatus,
Gay movement.
the gay movement,
Lesbian
the
movement.
lesbian movement,
Workers of witchcraft.
workers of witchcraft,
NASA Space Program.
National Space Program,
Army.
Army,
Navy.
Navy,
Air Force.
Air Force,
Marines.
Marines,
Wall Street.
Wall Street,
Open up the internet.
open up the internet,
And the airwaves.
and the airways,
Cable access channels.
cable access
And
channel,
the radio channels.
and the radio channel,
Convict the spirit
with the spirit
of any of our people
of any of our people
that seek to stop us.
that seek to stop us,
Bring swift destruction
bring swift destruction
to all the heathen
to all the heathen
that stand in the way
that stand in the way
of trying to stop us
of trying to stop us
from broadcasting your words
from broadcasting your word
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the
Plagues.
plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro
Cause them to go to and fro
through the earth
through the earth
and consume them.
and consume them.
Let the plagues
Let the plagues
shake the house of the thief
hit the house of the thief
and the murderer.
and the murderer.
Let Yahushua,
Let Yahushua,
Michael and Gabriel
Michael and Gabriel
come down with the flying saucers
come down with the flying saucers
and punish all the heathen
and punish all the heathen
that come up against us
that come up against us
as we speak thy word.
as we speak thy word.
Let me know by all
Cause it to be known by all.
that is the angels that have done it.
That is the angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media
Cause it to be spread through the media
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahushua,
In the name of Yahushua,
thank you always.
thank you always.
So be it.
So be it.
Y'all can tie hands down. Solid for each turn. Man of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Man of Israel, imagine Shabbat. Imagine. Barak.
Yahweh Shemina Shah Barakatah.
Y'all can tie hands down. Dismiss.